So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, law students, bar reviewees. This afternoon, we will discuss local government taxation. I am Dean Rocky Duhungko, and I am delivering this video lecture to you in preparation for the 2024 bar exams. So kung nandito na kayo sa portion na ito, local government tax, please take note guys that we are no longer studying the tax code. Dito na tayo ngayon sa Local Government Code of 2091. So, kung local government taxation ang pinag-uusapan, we are talking about sections 128 to 196 of the Local Government Code. Again, wala na tayo sa tax code, so dapat ang code na hawak nyo ay ang Local Government Code na. Okay? And particularly for the 2024 bar exam. As I have mentioned in my previous video lectures, what's special about this 2024 bar exam scope in taxation is that nakalagay na kung ano yung mga sections or provisions that are to be studied by the bar examinees. So for this video lecture, we are just focusing on local taxation. For real property taxation, we will discuss it in another video lecture. All right? So, for local taxation, we will go through the general principles. Ano yung limitations on the taxing power of LGUs? What would be relevant to local business taxes? No? So, when we talk about local business taxes, ito yung mas kilala natin sa tinatawag na mayor's permit. 'Di ba? So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng local business tax. Marami pang taxes which are under local taxation, like community tax certificate, tax on sand and gravel, um, tax on transfer of real properties. But again, as you can see before you, no, this is based on Bar Bulletin number 1 series of 2024. For local taxation, ang sinama lang ng ating Bar Chair, Justice Mario Lopez, ay local business tax under sections 143, 145, and 146. Okay? Then after that, we will also take up or we will also discuss what are the steps or what are the requisites for the validity of a local tax ordinance. At the same time, if you want to question the legality or the validity of a local tax ordinance, ano ang steps? Saan ba tayo pupunta? Saan tayo mag-file ng appeal? No? So we will also take that up later. And then of course, similar to tax remedies under the tax code, meron ding tax remedies under the local government code. Bakit? Di ba sabi ko sa inyo guys, dalawa lang naman ang pwedeng maging problema ng taxpayer when it comes to taxes. Number one, either sumobra ang bayad, no? Or pangalawa, nagkulang ang bayad. So kung sumobra ang bayad ng taxpayer, ano ang kanyang remedy? To ask or to file an application for a refund. Pero kung nagkulang naman ang bayad ng taxpayer, what is the remedy? Of course, the government will issue a deficiency tax assessment. Now, and the remedy of the taxpayer in case nakatanggap siya ng deficiency tax assessment is to actually file a protest against the assessment, right? So either nagkulang yung bayad or sumobra yung bayad, dahil kung tama ang bayad, there is no problem, there is no need for a remedy, right? So, same with the remedies under the tax code, meron din ganon. But considering that we are already studying a different law, right? So we are already studying a different law. Yung periods involved, medyo iba na. At the same time, iba na rin yung mga i-issue ng local government. Take note, ang opposing party na dito ng taxpayer ay hindi na BIR, na ang nag-i-issue na ng deficiency tax assessment ay ang local government unit through the local treasurer. So si local treasurer na ang kalaban natin, hindi na si CIR. No? So in that case, diretso na tayo sa lecture proper. So ang unang-unang kasama sa scope ng local taxation for the 2024 bar exam would be fundamental principle. So let's go to section 130 of the local government code. So anong sabi natin dito? Fundamental principles, letter A. taxation shall be uniform in each local government unit. Okay? So, anong ibig sabihin nun? When we talk about uniformity, what does that mean? Taxation shall be equal for all persons which are similarly situated. Di ba? Uniformity is equality. Dapat pantay-pantay ang pagkakatax. If you are similarly situated, you should be subjected to the same kind of tax. But take note, this requirement of uniformity is required in each local government unit. So, ibig sabihin, let's say Alpha City taxes its residents at the rate of 2% for a particular tax, no? And then Beta City taxes its residents at only 1%. Yeah? So magkaiba ha. Again, Alpha City 2%, Beta City 1% only. Can the residents of Alpha City file a complaint that the rule on uniformity is being violated? Consider na bakit sa kabilang city, 1% lang sila? The rule is no. That is not a valid argument. Because the requirement for uniformity is only required for each local government unit. Meaning, all the residents of Alpha City similarly situated should be subjected to the same 2% rate. Whereas the residents of Beta City that are similarly situated should be subjected to 1%. The fact that the two LGUs or the two cities are taxing their residents in a different manner is not violative of the rule of uniformity. Okay? Next, taxes, fees, charges, and other impositions shall be equitable and based as far as practicable on the taxpayer's ability to pay. So, naaralan natin to dati. It's the same principle, no? Sa national taxation. It should be based on the taxpayer's ability to pay, right? And second, it must be levied and collected only for public purposes. So again, to remind everyone, public purpose doesn't admit of any definite, any specific definition. It must be given a broad interpretation as long as social justice is at the heart of every tax measure. Right? Third, the taxes, fees, and charges imposed by the LGU should not be unjust, excessive, oppressive, and confiscatory. Okay? And last, under letter B, it must not be contrary to law, public policy, national economic policy, or in restraint of trade. Na? Next, under Section 30, ito mahalaga to. Letter C, the collection of local taxes, fees, charges, and other impositions shall in no case be let to any private person. So this is, again, one of the differences between local taxation and national taxation. It's for national taxation, example sa BIR, saan tayo pwede magbayad? Who can collect national taxes? Actually, we can pay to the BIR directly, and at the same time, we can also pay through authorized agent banks. Some of these banks are actually privately owned. Hindi naman government-owned lahat ng banks na authorized agent banks. But look at this. Collection of local taxes shall in no case be left to private person. Bawal mag-authorize ng ibang collection agent for local taxes. Dapat yung LGU lang ang magko-collect. Right? The revenue collected pursuant to the provisions of this code shall inure solely to the benefit of and be subject to the disposition by the LGU levying the tax, fee, charge, or other imposition unless other specifically provided therein. No? And then last but not the least, same nakikita natin ito sa Constitution, but it also applies to local governments. Each LGU shall, as far as practicable, evolve a progressive system of taxation. Does this mean that regressive systems are totally prohibited? Sabi ng Supreme Court. So, what is mandated is the evolution of a progressive system. But it does not totally prohibit the imposition of or the use of regressive systems. But nonetheless, pati yung hindi lang sa Congress, but LGUs shall also evolve a progressive system of taxation. Okay? So next, under general principles, section 132, specifically mentioned in the 2024 bar syllabus also, local taxing authority. Kung ang definition ng taxation on the national level is that it is exercised by the lawmaking body of the state, sa local taxes, the power to impose a tax, fee, or charge or to generate revenue under the local government code shall be exercised by the sanggunian of the LGU. Anong gagawin ng sanggunian? Through an appropriate ordinance. And take note, di ba sa local government, 4 na LGUs ang may taxing power. These are the provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangay. So, yung sangguniang panlalawigan, sangguniang bayan, sangguniang panlunsod, saka yung sanggunian ng barangay. Sila ang pwedeng magpasa ng ordinance imposing revenues or revenue collections, right? So sila lang ang pwedeng mag-impose ng tax, fee, or charge. By the way, anong pagkakaiba ng national taxation sa local taxation? Guys, please take note, for national taxation, it is an inherent power of the state. However, local taxation is not an inherent power. Bakit? Kasi yung LGU, hindi naman siya state, di ba? Under pa rin ng national government. So, remember what we have learned under general principles, ang national taxing power does not require any constitutional or statutory conferment. However, for LGUs to have taxing power, it must be conferred by either the Constitution or statute, which is actually the case in the Philippines. Makikita natin sa 1987 Constitution na nag-grant ng power to the LGUs to create their own source of revenue. Same sa local government code, we can also see a similar provision, no? So, yung grant ng local taxing power is done by the Constitution and statute. Absent these grants, hindi magkakaroon ng taxing power ang LGUs because it is not an inherent power of local government units, right? Third, dito tayo sa limitations. So, in as much as the taxing power is given to the sanggunians, ang tanong, ano ang mga hindi nila pwedeng i-tax? Right? So, under section 133, merong maraming subsections dyan. From letter A to O. Guys, please go through each and every one of these subsections sa yung mga letter dyan. This section enumerates the limitations on the taxing power of LGUs. Ano yung mga hindi nila pwedeng taksan? It shall not extend to, if you look at most of the letters here, anong makikita nyo? Income tax, doc stamps, taxes on estates, customs duties, etc., etc. Most of them, pag binasa nyo yan isa-isa, which I'm sure you will read, no? Most of them pertain to taxes already imposed by the national government, whether implemented through the BIR or the Bureau of Customs. So, basahin yun isa-isa, excise tax, percentage tax, or VAT, hindi na yan pwedeng i-impose ng LGUs. Alright? Let's go directly to L naman na. Anong sabi sa L? Taxes, fees, or charge for the registration of motor vehicles and for the issuance of all kinds of licenses or permits for the driving thereof. So yung mga registration of vehicles tsaka driver's license, hindi yan pwede i-charge ng LGU except tricycles, no? Yung ating mga toda-toda, di ba? So nakikita nyo, no? Merong nakasulat dyan sa letter L, right? Except tricycles. So next, M, taxes, fees, or other charges on Philippine products actually exported. Nakasulat din dyan, bawal taksan ng LGU. Next, for taxes, fees, or charges on countryside and barangay business enterprise and also cooperatives. Hindi na rin sila pwedeng taksan ng LGUs. No? And last but not the least, but most important among these, taxes, fees, or charges of any kind on the national government, its agencies, and instrumentalities, and local government units. So, nakikita nyo dyan, no? This is one of the inherent limitations, di ba? The government cannot be subjected to taxes. It is inherently exempt from taxes. So, that principle is reiterated in the local government code through Section 133, letter O. Talagang pinagbawalan ang mga LGU na mag-levy ng tax fees or charges to the national government, its agencies, instrumentalities, and other local government units. Right? Next. So alam na natin, sabi kanina sa section 132, no? Sorry, this one should be 133 ha. Section 133 itong slide na ito. That local taxing authority is exercised by the Sanggunian through an appropriate ordinance. So question, what are the requisites for the validity of an ordinance? If we look at sections 186 and 187, makikita natin ano yung requisites for a valid ordinance. No? Take note under section 187, the ordinance shall not be enacted without a prior public hearing conducted for the purpose. The Supreme Court decision, no? Sabi ng Supreme Court, it is up to the person asking for the invalidation or the nullity of the ordinance, nasa kanyang burden of proof to prove that there was no public hearing conducted for the purpose, right? So, public hearing is required. Again, this is another difference between local taxation and national taxation. For local tax ordinances, a prior public hearing shall be conducted for the purpose prior to the enactment thereof. But for national taxation, Congress is not required to conduct a prior public hearing. Bakit? Kasi 'di ba, ano ang procedure for the passage of laws? Nakalagay na yan sa Constitution. And wala namang ni-require na public hearing for the validity of the law. Pero for an ordinance by the Sanggunian, required ang public hearing. Alright? So, pakitignan na lang yung process of approval under sections 187 and 54. And the ordinance shall be effective 10 days after posting. Na makikita natin ito sa section 59. Okay? So, question, considering na ito na yung procedure for the enactment of the ordinance and say the citizen has an issue or wants to raise or wants to question the validity of an ordinance, ano ang procedure? It's also written in section 187. Anong sabi dyan? Sa pangalawang proviso, provided further, kung nakikita nyo na sa may bandang gitna, any question on the constitutionality or legality of tax ordinances or revenue measures may be raised on appeal. No? So sabi natin sa ating remedies, pag mga ganitong question, ang tanong ay kailan, what's the reglementary period, at ang pangalawang tanong ay saan, saan ako magpo-file ng appeal, right? So here, kung may question ka on the validity, you may raise it on appeal within 30 days from the effectivity. So dapat maging effective muna yung ordinance. May publication and then merong effectivity, right? And within 30 days from the effectivity thereof, you may raise on appeal questions on constitutionality to the Secretary of Justice. And under the same section 187, the Secretary of Justice shall render a decision within 60 days from the date of receipt of the appeal. Okay, so nasa Secretary of Justice ka na. What happens next? No? So kung let's say the Secretary of Justice rendered an adverse decision, so meaning in-uphold niya yung validity ng ordinance and the complainant wants to elevate the case pa, or nag-lapse ang 60 days without decision from the Secretary of Justice, saan ka pwedeng mag-appeal? So, dito tayo sa provided finally that within 30 days after the receipt of the decision or the lapse of the 60-day period, without the Secretary of Justice acting upon the appeal, the aggrieved party may file appropriate proceedings with a court of competent jurisdiction. Saan yung court of competent jurisdiction? Sa Regional Trial Court. Alright, so RTC ang court of competent jurisdiction yan. Question, however, kung ang constitutionality or legality of tax ordinance ay na-question, will it suspend the effectivity of the tax ordinance? The answer is no. Such appeal shall not have the effect of suspending the effectivity of the ordinance and the accrual and the payment of the tax fee or charge levied therein. So kahit ma-question ang validity or constitutionality ng ordinance, hindi masususpend ang effectivity, right? So that is the procedure when it comes to local tax ordinances. Okay? So kagaya ng sabi natin kanina, we now move on to the taxing power of municipalities and cities, particularly to charging fees and charges on business and occupation and practice of any profession or calling. So if you look at section 143, no, din, kailangan ba namin i-memorize lahat ng yan? Syempre hindi. So, panic guys, ako nakita nyo lahat ng numbers, lahat ng tables at ng figures. Hindi naman yan itatanong, no? What do you need to understand or at least remember when it comes to section 143? Yung mga words pa rin na nandyan, no? Take note, the municipality and by association, the cities also, kasi ang cities also have the power to tax the same subject matters that are taxed by municipalities and provinces. So sa 143, tandaan nyo lang kung ano yung mga businesses na pwedeng ma-imposean nitong tax na ito, tax on businesses. Basically, everything eh. Manufacturers, assemblers, repackers sa A, sa B, wholesalers, distributors, dealers, C, exporters, manufacturers, etc., right? D is retailers, E, contractors and other independent contractors, F, banks, G, peddlers engaged, H, any business not otherwise specified. So, paano lahat? Di ba? Nasa-charge naman talaga ng business tax. And if you remember guys, no, like what I mentioned earlier, itong tinatawag nating business tax is what we know more popularly as mayor's permit. Ito yung kinukuha natin sa munisipyo or sa city hall every year. Kasi ito yung tinatawag nating business tax. Alright? So what is the rule? Kung halimbawa, magsasara na ako ng business, i-retire ko na yung business. What is the rule? We can find it in section 145. Anong sabi? A business subject to the tax pursuant to the preceding sections shall, upon termination thereof, so magsasara na yung business, submit a sworn statement of the gross sales receipts for the current year. If the tax paid during the year be less than the tax due on the said gross sales or receipts, the difference shall be paid before the business concerned is officially retired. Okay? So anong ibig sabihin? For example, the business ran from January to November. So, ibig sabihin, retire na siya, hindi na siya umabot ng December. But remember, for the current year, so let's say 2024, nag-run yung business from January to November 2024. But remember, for the year 2024, kailan ba binayaran yung business tax? Last January 2024, right? So take note guys, for local taxes, it's not the same as income taxes na binabayaran mo siya the year after. For local business taxes, the accrual and the payment pertain to the year when it is made. So as you can see in the last bullet here, business taxes accrue every January 1 and it is paid on or before January 20 of each year. Guys, this is relevant to the next slide regarding assessments, right? So Ibig sabihin, yung binayaran mo ng January 20 pertains to the same year, hindi for the year before. Right? That's not the rule, ha? So it's not for the year before, it is for the same year. So assuming that your business has already run from January to November, no? So magsasubmit ka ng sworn statement magkano yung gross receipts mo for the current year from January to November. And if kulang pa yung binayaran mo noong January of the year, you have to pay the difference before your business is officially retired. Now, that's the rule on the retirement, ha? Right? How about payment of business taxes under Section 146? What does this say? No? Under this section, it says that business tax is payable for every separate or distinct establishment or place where business subject to tax is conducted. So, ibig sabihin, kung marami kang branch, no, you have to pay business taxes on each branch. So, branch A, B, C. So, magbabayad ka ng business taxes for A, B, and C, right? So, if pare-pareho naman yung nature ng business A, B, and C, sabi dito, when a person conducts two or more businesses, the tax shall be computed on the combined total. So, this presupposes that business branches A, B, and C are located within the same city or municipality. So, ang i-declare mo, lahat ng sales mo for branches A, B, and C. Right? But how about if iba yung line of business ni branch C? Iba yung letter niya dito, hindi siya parehong manufacturer or wholesaler or retailer or whatever. Ano mangyayari? No? When a person conducts or operates, two or more businesses which are subject to different rates of tax, the gross sales receipts of each business shall be separately reported. So halimbawa, pareho ang business ni branch A and B, pero iba ang branch ni business, iba ang business ni branch C. So ibig sabihin, i-combine mo yung total sales, i-report mo yung total sales ni branches A and B, tapos separately reported yung total sales ni branch C. Alright? But if located na sila sa different cities or municipalities, you have to declare, no, under Section 150 naman ito on Citus, you have to declare the sales per branch, per municipality. Alright? So, take note, no, sabi sa Section 150, the business maintaining or operating branch or sales outlets elsewhere, so nasa ibang LGU na siya, shall record the sale in the branch or sales outlet making the sale or transaction. Yes? And the tax thereon shall accrue and shall be paid to the municipality or city where such branch or sales outlet is located. So dapat may ability si business na i-account yung pagkakahiwa-hiwalay ng kanyang sales per city or municipality and per branch. So alam niyo dapat ano yung i-combine niya, ano yung isi-separate. Right? So that's the general rules. Those are the general rules for local business taxes. So next, dito na tayo sa remedies for local business taxes. So natin guys, the logic or the flow is the same for the tax code, but take note, the periods are very much different. Magkaiba. Alright? So, dito, ang tanong natin, local tax assessment can be issued or the collection is counted from when? Ano ang reglementary period for assessment and collection of local business taxes? Under Section 194 of the Local Government Code, anong sinabi dyan? Local taxes, fees, or charges shall be assessed within 5 years from the date they become due. In the previous slides na explain natin yung accrual and payment, right? So ang power ng LGU to make assessments for business taxes is only within 5 years from the time they become due. So guys, compute tayo. For example, by the time of recording this, it's just May 2024. So as of today, May, 2024. Can the LGU make an assessment for local business taxes pertaining to 2019? How about the year 2020? And how about the year 2021? So magbilang tayo. For the year 2019, kailan naging due ang local business taxes? Sabi natin same year, di ba, of the payment. So ibig sabihin, for 2019, the local business tax became due January 20, 2019. If we add 5 years, that means the LGU has only until January 20, 2024 to to make an assessment for the local business taxes pertaining to 2019. Eh, di ba sabi ko May 2024 na ngayon? So, ibig sabihin, prescribed na. Tapos na. Wala ng power ang LGU to assess local business taxes for the year 2019. Right? But how about 2020? So naging due siya January 20, 2020, which means the LGU has until January 20, 2025 to make an assessment. Pwede pa, right? So this means that as of today, May 20, 2024, no? May 2024 rather ngayon. Ang power lang ng mga LGU ay mag-issue ng local tax assessments for the year 2020 onwards. 2019 and earlier, wala na. Prescribed na. Right? However, meron ding extraordinary periods dito when there is fraud or intent to evade. The same may be assessed within 10 years from the discovery of the intent to evade the payment. So, 5 or 10. Regular and extraordinary. Okay? Next, how about collection? Sabi natin sa remedies, magkaiba ang prescriptive periods for assessment and collection. So for the collection of local taxes, fees, or charges, it can be collected within 5 years from the date of assessment. And take note, no such action shall be instituted after the expiration of the said period. So ibig sabihin, kung ordinary or regular assessment, 5 plus 5. Kasi 5 years assessment, 5 years collection. Pero kung extraordinary assessment with fraud or intent to evade, it will be 10 plus 5. Diba? Kasi assessment within 10 years and another 5 years for collection. Okay? But guys, under this section, please take note of the instances of the suspension of running of prescriptive periods under section 194. Ano yung mga instances na to? The treasurer is legally prevented from making the assessment or collection. The taxpayer requests for a reinvestigation and executes a waiver in writing before the expiration of the period within which to assess or collect. So meron din pwedeng waiver dito sa local government code. And last, the taxpayer is out of the country or otherwise cannot be located. Masususpend ang running ng prescriptive periods under 194. Okay? So assuming, nag-issue na nga ang local treasurer ng ating assessment, anong pwedeng gawin ng taxpayer? Siyempre, pwede siyang mag-protest. Right? So as you can see here, medyo mas simple yung procedure for an assessment as compared to under the tax code. But again, the periods are very much different. So sabi dito, when the local treasurer issues a notice of assessment na agad na kulang yung binayad ng taxpayer. Ano ang dapat na content ng isang notice of assessment? Dapat nakasulat doon sa notice of assessment ang nature of the tax fee or charge, the amount of deficiency, including the surcharge, interest, and penalties. Yun ang dapat niyang i-issue sa erring taxpayer. So anong gagawin ni taxpayer? Within 60 days, di ba? Dito pa lang na iba na yung period. Within 60 days from the receipt of the notice of assessment, the taxpayer may file a written protest. Written protest Saan siya magpo-file? Sa local treasurer, contesting the assessment. Assuming the taxpayer fails to protest, anong mangyayari? The assessment shall become final and executory. Okay? Anong mangyayari pagkasunod nun? The local treasurer shall decide the protest within 60 days also. So 60 days to protest, 60 days to decide. No? If the local treasurer finds the protest to be meritorious, edi cancelled na ang assessment. However, if the local treasurer finds the assessment to be wholly or partly correct, he may deny the protest. Kasi nga tama naman yung pagkaka-assess. And the taxpayer shall have 30 days from the receipt of the denial or the lapse of the 60-day period within which to appeal with the court of competent jurisdiction. Otherwise, the assessment becomes conclusive and unappealable. Guys, at this point take note, ang sabi sa Local Government Code, Court of Competent Jurisdiction. Hindi niya sinabing CTA. So, ibig sabihin, hindi yan sa CTA Court of Competent Jurisdiction yan. Alright? So, to summarize, no, tingnan nyo, ibang-iba talaga yung period. To summarize, ito yung assessment stages when it comes to local taxation. Diba? Within 5 years, no, ordinary prescription. Or within 5 years, notice of assessment is issued by the local treasurer. And the taxpayer has 60 days from the receipt of the NOA or notice of assessment to file his or her protest. No? Pwede siya mag-protest. And then within 60 days from the filing of the protest, the local treasurer has 60 days to decide on the protest. 60 days lang. So 60-60. And then, kung may inaction on the part of the local treasurer or dineny ni local treasurer yung protest, the taxpayer may appeal to the MTC or RTC, so first or second level courts, within 30 days from the denial or lapse of the 60 days. Paano mo malaman kung sa MTC or RTC ka pupunta? No? Take note of Republic Act 11576, increasing the jurisdiction of MTC, no? 2 million pesos threshold na natin. No? So that will determine kung ikaw ba ay, kung depende sa magkano ang inassess sa'yo, no? So take note of the 2 million pesos threshold kung MTC or RTC ba. Na-increase na yung jurisdictional amount. Right? So let's apply this. Kasi nga nakakalito siya, di ba? Iba na to from the tax code. So in 2010, this question was actually asked in the bar exam. So guys, dahil nga sa RA 11576, in-increase na yung jurisdiction ng MTC. So in-adjust ko na rin yung question So okay na before the MTC, hindi na before the RTC. Baka malito kayo. But anyway, hindi naman yun yung issue dito. Right? Ang issue dito is yung periods. So let's compute. On May 15, 2023, La Manga Trading Corporation received a deficiency business tax assessment of 1.5 million pesos from Pasay City Treasurer. On June 30, the corporation contested the assessment by filing a written protest. Tignan natin yung unang tanong. Was the protest of the corporation filed on time? O filed on time nga ba? From May 15 to June 30, ilang days yon? 46 days. Diba? Kasi may 31 So 46 days from May 15 to June 30. Was the protest of the corporation filed on time? The answer is yes. The protest of the corporation was timely filed. No? Under the local government code, a taxpayer is given 60 days. Diba? Sabi natin 60 days to file counted from the receipt of the notice of assessment to file his or her protest before the local treasurer. In the given case, the protest was filed on the 46th day. So, ibig sabihin, it was timely filed. So, tama yan. Check. Diba? Eh kung alam mo yung period sa tax code, ay mamamali ka dito. Right? So, buti na lang nakinig kayo ng lecture na ito. Alam yung 60 days ang period ng taxpayer to file a protest when it comes to local taxation. Iba na ang periods. Alright? Next, on October 10, 2023, the corporation received a collection letter from the city treasurer, drawing it to file on October 25, 2023, an appeal against the assessment before the MTC. So ang question, Was the appeal with the Pasay MPC filed on time? The answer is no. The appeal with the Pasay MPC was filed beyond the reglementary period. Bakit? Di ba kasi ang protest hinala on June 30, 2023. Eh sabi natin, the local treasurer has 60 days only to decide on the protest. So kung June 30, July, August, meron until August 29 ang city treasurer to decide on the protest. So ibig sabihin, from August 29, meron lang 30 days si taxpayer to elevate the case to the MPC. So August 29 plus 30 days is September 28. So hanggang September 28 lang siya pwede mag-elevate ng case to the MPC. Eh kailan niya in-elevate? October 25. No? It doesn't matter if the collection letter happened on October 10. Wala namang ganong provision doon sa local government code. So basta 60, 60, 30. So the case was filed before the MPC only on October 25. Kaya yung appeal filed with the MPC that was already filed out of time, beyond the reglementary period. Alright? O how about refunds? So this one, sumobra naman ang bayad ng taxpayer. Can a local tax refund be filed? And paano ang counting ng prescriptive period? Under Section 196, no case or proceeding shall be maintained in any court for the recovery of any tax, fee, or charge erroneously or illegally collected until a written claim for refund or credit has been filed with the local treasurer. So, admin stage muna tayo. And then, bago tayo pupunta sa court. But take note, no case or proceeding shall be entertained in any court after the expiration of 2 years from the date of payment of such tax fee or charge. No? So, ibig sabihin, both the admin with the local treasurer and the judicial stage should happen within 2 years from the date of the erroneous payment. Saan court ka magpa-file? Again, it's the MPC or RTC depending on the amount. No? Please take note of the 2 million peso threshold. Alright? So that's it for local government taxation. I am Dean Rocky Duhongko. Thank you and best of luck in the bar exams. If you want to follow me on Twitter, please follow the handle at What Rocky Thinks. Thank you and God bless.